There's someone you've been arguing with your entire life, and they're almost never the person standing in front of you. That person catches the reaction, but they didn't start the fire. Someone else did a long time ago. Think about the last time someone did something or said something, and your reaction was bigger than what happened. Not a little bigger, a lot bigger. Maybe your partner said something dismissive, and you couldn't stop thinking about it for 2 days. Maybe someone at work gave you a small piece of criticism, and you've been carrying that around for a week. Maybe your kid used a certain kind of tone of voice when they said something to you, and your chest just shut down. And in that moment, you had a perfectly logical explanation for why you reacted the way that you did. You built a whole case: the dishes, the tone, the pattern, the disrespect, everything they've done for the last 2 weeks. Now it all made sense, except the size of what you felt didn't match the size of what happened. And somewhere underneath this case that you were building, something in you already knew that. That gap between what happened and how you felt, that's not a character flaw. It's a map. And today I want to show you where it points. Here's what's happening inside your nervous system. Your brain runs on a database. And that database was written a long time ago, before you had defenses, before you had language for it, before you were old enough to decide what anything meant. Every experience that felt threatening or defining, that got filed. A rule got written, something like, I am not enough, or people leave, or when I mess up, I hurt the people that I love. And that rule has been running your nervous system ever since. The nervous system has no timestamp. When something in the present moment rhymes with something in that old file, the old file opens up. Your brain doesn't say, this is happening again. It says, this is happening. There is no again. There's no calendar. There's no distance between then and now. It's just happening right now in your body. So when your partner says something that lands wrong, the reaction that rises up isn't coming from your partner. It's coming from whoever made you feel that way the first time. Your partner just dialed a number. Someone else picked up the phone. Think about it. The person in front of you, the person you love, the person you work with, your kid, they tripped a wire they didn't install. They can't see it. And you're holding them responsible for a sentence that somebody else said 40 years ago. I know this because I did it for most of my life. For most of my life, I hated my birthday. Not in a casual way, in a deep, visceral, please do not acknowledge this day kind of way. I made sure all my friends knew no celebrations, no surprises, no fuss. And I had good reasons. Good ones, I thought. I didn't like being put on the spot. I didn't like being singled out. I didn't like attention. And about 5 years ago, I was moving from New York to North Carolina, and my friends gave me a going away party. It was a great night, and I was genuinely happy until someone came out of the kitchen with a lit birthday cake. 15 days after my birthday, and everyone started singing. I felt my face go hot. Something behind my eyes just shut off. I think I said thank you, but I was cold. I was annoyed, resentful even. These were people who loved me, people who were saying goodbye to me, and I couldn't receive it. I told myself I had every right to feel the way that I did. They knew I hated my birthday. They knew better than to do this. It took me years to find out what was behind all of this. Years later, in my own coaching work, I went back. I found a 6-year-old boy. It was my mother's birthday. First thing that morning, I started making her a card. I was coloring in the big heart that I drew with the last fire engine red color crayon that I had, but it ran out. So I tried going over it with orange, but it just got worse. I threw it away and started again, but I kept making mistakes, and this card needed to be perfect. I got called down to breakfast, but I wasn't finished with my card yet, and I couldn't not have a card for my mother on her birthday. My mom smiled as she handed me my cereal, and I sat there too embarrassed to say happy birthday because I didn't have a card. I needed to finish that card. By afternoon, I felt that sick, sinking feeling of knowing that I had missed it. I told myself it was too late. I should have done it earlier, that I had already messed up. So I said nothing. I kept my mouth shut, and I tore up that unfinished card, and I blamed that fire engine red crayon. That evening, I went into our kitchen. My mom was cooking dinner. She was crying, and she said, "I can't believe everything I do for everyone else, and no one even remembered today was my birthday. Not one person, not one card." And I felt like the ground had disappeared. I was too embarrassed to show her the card that I had started, too ashamed to explain. All I said was, "I'm sorry." And I never even said happy birthday. And inside, I hoped that I wouldn't get in trouble. But the real thing that happened in that moment was quieter than trouble. A rule got written. When it's somebody's birthday and you fail to show up, you hurt them. And for years after that, without knowing it, every birthday became an opportunity for that 6-year-old to feel what he felt in that kitchen. So when my friends brought out a cake 15 days after my birthday, I wasn't standing in a going away party in New York. I was standing in a kitchen, bracing, hurting my mother, feeling what I felt at 6 years old. Now, my friends didn't know that. How could they? They were celebrating me, and I was arguing with a ghost. Here's what I want you to sit with. The people in your life, the ones who have caught your biggest reactions, almost none of them deserved the size of what they got. They just tripped a wire that they didn't install. They said a word, used a tone, did a thing, and a file opened. And whatever came out of you in that moment, the silence, the fury, the withdrawal, the cold shoulder, that wasn't for them. It was for someone else. Someone who hurt you before you had the words for it. Someone who is probably long gone from your daily life, but who has been in the room every time through the people you love most. Old code, new hardware. That's what's running. And here's the thing about it. You didn't choose the code that got written. You were a child. You were doing the only thing a child can do, making sense of what was happening with the mind that you had at that time. That rule made sense then. It protected you. But you are not a child anymore. The moment you can see the old code running, the moment you can catch it as it starts to rise, you get something back. And what you get is choice. You don't have to fire off the reaction at whoever happens to be standing there. you can stop it. You can feel what's underneath. You can recognize it for what it is. Not your partner's fault. Not your colleague's fault. Not your kid's fault. An old wound looking for resolution in the wrong place. The people in your life deserve the version of you who knows the difference. And so do you. If something in this video landed for you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments.